We bring in now Zainab Sultan, who's a journalist with the Doha Center for Media Freedom. And media freedom, Zainab, is what we're talking about here. So many months behind bars, and yet while they've been in captivity, the campaign to get them freed is going from strength to strength. How do you rate it at the moment?
I think it's remarkable how the world has really gathered together in support of these journalists. I think this is something we've seen very unique in this case. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before, but maybe not at such a large scale. And I think, it's important to understand that these journalists were just doing their jobs in covering the events, what was happening in Egypt. And the center has, since their arrest, has been, urging for their release and just calling, just joining hands with all the international organizations, asking for the immediate release and dropping all the charges against them.
There are probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people worldwide who believe that they are being kept in prison unjustly for doing their jobs and expressing their views. And there may be people who look at us and think that we're using our position a little bit unfairly to promote this cause. So explain to them and to me why you think this has to matter for everybody.
I think, right now the situation, it's not just, the Middle East, there's been so much going on in the entire region, but more so if you even see the events in Ukraine, if you see what's happening in Algeria. What I want to really say is the center is not just concerned about what's happening in Egypt, but really, how it affects the journalists worldwide when it comes to reporting on elections, reporting on, political instability or any kind of, corruption or any of that sort of thing. So I think this case is kind of giving us that kind of face for people to understand that how journalists can face an immense amount of crackdown when they're just trying to report what's happening in their country.
And they are just trying to report what's happening, not necessarily in their country, but in countries that they visit. And the world is becoming a more dangerous place for journalists year by year, it appears.
Yeah, definitely. I think if we closely monitor, the cases. We've seen, Iraq has not really improved, for a long time now. And just last year, I believe, from our count, there were 16 journalists who were killed in Iraq. And the major chunk of the journalists were just killed in the last 3 months or 4 months of the year. So the safety situation is not really improving, in the region, or even let's say Afghanistan with the recent killings of the journalists there. So it's not the best, time to be a journalist, but at the same time, it's really important to keep going and reporting the truth.
Let us concentrate lastly again on this particular case.
Sure.
How difficult is it to find out precisely what is happening and get a fair picture of what they are going through in terms of the prosecution and defense and the court proceedings themselves?
I think it's extremely difficult because from what I'm hearing, just on Twitter and stuff, that there've been journalists who were kicked out of the court today. So I feel like not just even people from us, from our standpoint, like from an NGO like Doha Center, or even our partners, we are right now, we're in partnership with Reporters Without Borders, with the Internews Safety Institute, trying really hard to lobby for the release of these journalists. And it's extremely difficult. All we can do is, just continue with the Free Al Jazeera staff campaign and just turn their heads, and hopefully, we shall see them out by this World Press Freedom Day. That's what we're hoping.
Which is when quickly?
Crossed. This World Press Freedom Day, I hope they are released by then.
Okay.
Fingers
Thank
crossed.
you very much.
Thank you so much.